Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Quinton. I am the co-founder and CEO of Dweller. And Dweller, as Angela mentioned, we're a startup and we build housing, which is a good thing, right? We need more housing. In fact, we're in the midst of what is probably the worst housing crisis of our lifetime. And despite all the construction activity that you see, we're not catching up. A report was just released this week which estimates that in Oregon alone, we have a housing deficit of over 150,000 housing units. And what that means is that the pace of household growth in Oregon is outpacing the pace of new housing construction by 150,000 units. That deficit is estimated to be over 7 million housing units nationwide. And the reason why, or at least one of the reasons why we're not catching up, is because we still rely on an outdated method of building new housing. Land, labor, materials, and high-cost markets continue to drive up the cost and the time it's required to build new housing. And on top of that, despite the existence of modular construction processes, most new housing is still built completely on site, adding a whole nother layer of unpredictability and cost to the process. The result is that the average housing unit on the West Coast costs anywhere from $300,000 to $600,000 to build, and can take anywhere from 18 to 24 months. Now, at Dweller, we build accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, or granny flats, or backyard cottages, whatever you call them. They are now in the housing strategies for communities across the United States, and on the West Coast in particular. And that's because they're usually less expensive to build than other forms of housing, but also because they make efficient use of the massive amounts of underutilized land in our cities, our backyards. Now, you may think, that's great, ADUs are really cool, but is that really a market? Well, the demographic trends would say yes. First off, increasingly, people want to live in dense, single-family urban neighborhoods, and people want to age in those neighborhoods next to their family and their neighbors. And then people are looking to downsize. They're looking to live simpler lives. And on top of that, you have housing prices, which are causing homeowners to stretch to buy new homes, and we have homeowners who are now seeking all forms of extra income just to make ends meet. The problem is that the ADU industry suffers from the same complexity and inefficiency and cost as the rest of the construction industry. And on top of that, the ADU industry relies on the homeowner to essentially serve as a developer, managing all of this complexity and providing financing to the project. None of this suggests that the ADU industry without significant change is poised to scale. Now at Dweller, our mission is to dramatically scale the absorption of ADUs, not just on the West Coast, but across the United States. And we're doing that by addressing the primary challenges to building new ADUs. Our two primary innovations are, one, we build all of our units off-site using existing modular processes and capacity, which saves substantial time and money. In Portland, we can build an ADU for an all-in cost of $125,000, and we can do it in about 3 to 4 months. And the second innovation is that we offer the homeowner the option of either buying from us directly, or we'll build the ADU on their property at no cost to them by entering into a ground lease. And it's really the ground lease that opens up the market to the vast majority of homeowners, most of whom don't have equity in their property, don't have access to additional financing. Through a 25-year ground lease, Dweller will build, own, and manage the ADU, we'll rent it out, and we share 30% of the gross monthly rent with the homeowner. But throughout the life of the lease, the homeowner retains the right to buy us out at any time, which effectively serves as an alternative to the financing that is lacking from this market. But what really matters, right, is what they look like. So as you can see, we build attractive, high-quality housing that fits nicely into people's backyards. And on the inside, this looks like any new apartment that you would see on the rental market.